Hi, it's Tracy Heatley here from Better Networking and Bob Clubs Northwest. I specialise in helping people to win business through referrals. I'm a business matchmaker. I'm always connecting business owners together to see if they can refer business to each other or become customers of each other. The whole emphasis of my business is around networking. Better Networking is all about training people in networking and communications. My networking groups are Bob Clubs Northwest, Business Over Breakfast. That's all about helping our members to win business through referrals. Now, today's virtual expo is new for all of us. I'm used to delivering training and keynote speaking to a room full of people. And whilst my training is all about networking and communications training, I am also a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Marketing. And Andrew has asked me to speak to you today specifically about the best ways to network and follow up at today's virtual expo, and indeed any other expo that you might be attending. So first of all, you'll have heard the phrase time and time again, or well, you may have done, you may not have heard the phrase, but tell, don't sell. At this expo and any other expo, there are people and businesses that have paid to exhibit at expos, and there's nothing worse than being on a stand and being approached consistently by people who are actually wanting to sell you their services. Now, I'm not saying that no one's out to win business. Of course, we all want to win business. We all want to make that sale. But while you're at an expo, I think the thing is to concentrate on building the relationships, which is what networking is all about. It's all about building the relationships with the other people. So rather than approach somebody's stand, virtual stand, or normal stand if you're face to face, just think about it from their perspective. They're there to build relationships and try and sell their services, which I think is fine. But if you're visiting an expo, I really think the polite thing is to speak and listen. Understand about those businesses. You can't work out whether somebody's a good connection for you. You should know your target market by now. You'll know exactly who your ideal customer is. And you might approach somebody on the stand and think they're not an ideal customer for me, but you just never know who somebody knows. So when you're approaching someone on the stand, obviously pay enough respect for them to tell you about their business, because that's what they're there to do. As a visitor, if you are visiting an expo, I think it's polite to ask questions. With networking, listening is the best tool that you can have. So ask questions of those businesses. Whether or not you can sell directly to them, whether or not you can buy their services, that's not what matters. What matters is you making that connection and seeing perhaps if you can refer business to them, or they might be able to refer business to you as well, but have the emphasis on the relationship rather than on the sale. Now, you might be responsible for bringing business in, you might be a business development manager, so I'm kind of going against the grain here and saying, yes, network is about winning business, but what it's not about is selling on the spot. That comes later. It's the relationship between now and then that makes the difference. So when you're speaking to people, listen to understand, not listen to reply. I can't emphasize enough how crucial that is. So your listening skills are what you need to be mindful of. And don't disregard somebody just because they're not your ideal customer. You never know who they know. If you get talking to somebody, you build that rapport, you've got that relationship, they might be able to refer you to the best customer you've ever had. So the key bit there is tell, don't sell, listen to understand, not just to reply, and think about the long-term relationships and who those people might know that you're talking to, not about just diving right in there and trying to sell straight away. That's not what networking is all about. Now, after you've met your contacts at the expo, one of the key things that people do straight away is update their CRM, and that's really what you ought to be doing. Now, if you've got a CRM already, you'll be in the habit of doing this. If you're not, even if you put the details on a spreadsheet, that will make a difference. But for me, CRM stands for, some people call it customer relationship management, some people call it contact relationship management. Either way, whichever that means to you, the most important word in that is relationship. The start of the relationship is just making the connection. You'll know yourself, it depends what your products or services. Sometimes it might be really quick. You might have a product or service where you'll have one meeting and then you sell straight away. But for most of us, it can take a bit of time to build that relationship and you're not securing that deal straight away. So the most important bit is the relationship, and that's what networking is all about. And really, that's what you should be here to do today, not to sell, just to the very, very start of the relationship. When you've got the details in your CRM, you're going to follow up. Now, I'm going to come more about the follow-up in just a short time. You will get, I don't know how many opportunities from today. I don't know how many you need for your business. It varies for all of us, doesn't it? You might need one opportunity from today if you're exhibiting, or even if you're visiting. One opportunity might be all that you need. You might need a few. You might need one sale a year. You might need a few sales a day. Whatever it is for you, that opportunity is so fruitful. I mean, I've won business recently from somebody that I met at an expo 2 years ago. 2 years. So it just goes to show you, doesn't it? Where actually the average time it can take to win business through expos is 11 months. 11 months might sound like a long time, but it's worth building relationships during that time. So you've got your opportunity there, and I'm sure you'll have made lots of opportunities today. Now, doing a virtual event is not the same as being able to get somebody's business card and walk away with it. So I actually think you probably have to put more of an effort into building relationships when it's a virtual expo than you would face-to-face. And for some people, it might not be very comfortable to try and build rapport with people that you can't see face-to-face, but it is possible to do it. And you just need to practice. So don't be put off by the fact that it's virtual, but you will end up with somebody's contact details. And you'll have heard a lot during the other guest speakers that you've seen about social media, because this is what this expo is all about. And that links in so well with your networking, because the social media side of things, that can be sort of like the midpoint, really. So what you want is, you want to have made the connections now, but gone are the days that you make a connection then straight away it becomes a sale. It doesn't happen like that these days, and sometimes that social media is a bridge in between you making the connection and you actually winning the business. It's not uncommon for people to check you out on social media, check out your reviews, maybe connect with you on LinkedIn, follow you on Facebook, whatever platform it is. And all they're doing is trying to get to know you a little bit, sort of checking you out before they do business with you. So how you communicate through social media makes a big difference. And again, with the social media, you're not selling. If you think of everything as building a relationship, how would you want to be treated? You know, there's nothing annoys me more than connecting with somebody on LinkedIn and then I get a spam email from them trying to sell me their services immediately. Drives me mad. And then when I don't reply, I get a follow-up email saying, I wrote to you a couple of weeks ago and you've not replied. I feel like I'm getting turned off. So if that's the way that you decide to do that in business, that's entirely up to you, but I would advise not to. So when you think about connecting with people on LinkedIn, think about the relationships. Treat other people how you would expect to be treated. So use the social media platforms to bridge that gap and build on the relationship. So you've made the connection, perhaps today at this virtual networking event, but the relationship comes later. You know, one of my closest friends now, she actually trains people in LinkedIn, but we met through LinkedIn eight, nine years ago. Now, we didn't just meet on LinkedIn and connect and that was it straight away. We took time to build the relationships, and that's what you need to do from today, is build the relationships. Use social media as a platform to network and build relationships rather than just to sell. And you'll know what I mean if you see things coming up on your news feeds all the time and it's just all sell, 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 sell. It's like somebody wafting an advertisement or walking up to you and shoving a leaflet. in your hand if you're walking by. It's a similar kind of concept. So don't do it. Relationship is what is key with everything. And the fortune from these events is in the follow-up, 100%. Like I mentioned, 11 months is the average time. So why wouldn't you follow up with somebody? Yes, add them to your CRM. You'll know if you've got, I don't know, if you work things out, whether you've got cold, warm, hot leads, that's fair enough. If you've got your pile that might just be contacts that you've met through today, your biggest customer could come through those contacts. So follow up with everybody. Don't judge anybody by what they do and think, well, they'll perhaps not be a good contact for me. That's not always the case. And I do share this story many times, and I'm going to share a story with you now. I can't remember how long ago it was, many years ago, probably 10, 15 years ago. I was at a networking event, and there was a gentleman there who was, best way I can describe him is a little bit arrogant and self-assured. And he was having a chat with another gentleman, and he flat out said to him that he wasn't of any use to him, basically. Wasn't any use to him because he wasn't his target market, he wasn't his ideal customer. Left the conversation and walked away. Now, what I later found out is the gentleman who was best described as somewhat arrogant and self-assured, his ideal contacts and customers were in the oil industry. And the gentleman who he'd pretty much fobbed off and been very rude to, he had a brother who was a senior, in a very senior position within the oil industry, and actually would have been that guy's ideal target market. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because you just don't know who people know. You really don't. So don't rule out anybody. Be polite to everybody, listen to everybody, hear what they've got to say. And your opportunities, what do you consider your opportunities? Are your opportunities those cold, warm, hot leads that we were just talking about? Are they your contacts? What does an opportunity mean to you? Because I will put it to you that the opportunities should be your opportunities to help other people. So rather than focusing on the pile of business cards or the connections or the LinkedIn connections that you make from today and those contact details and working out where the biggest sales are, if you go through them and think to yourself, how can I help every single one of these people? What opportunities can I create for them? Then you will get the rewards that way, because the more people you help to get what they want, the more people will help you get what you want. Ultimately, the more you help other people, the greater the return it is for you. And I know that probably sounds like it goes against the grain with everything that we're taught in sales, but you're not selling when you're networking. You're building the relationships. You're perhaps trying to help people refer business to each other. But I promise you, the more you try and help other people, the better it will be for you. You will have better networking, you will have better communications, you'll have a better response, you'll build a better support team. It might be years before somebody comes back and can help you, but I guarantee if you help somebody else get what they want, whether they can help you immediately or not, you will always be in the back of their mind, and they will try and help you when the opportunity occurs. So for me, that's the way that I do it. So of course, if I'm at an expo, of course I collect people's details. Of course I look and I think, are they a potential customer? I'd be lying if I said I don't. I do. But I also look through and I go through every single connection that I make and look and think, how can I help them? Can I introduce them to somebody that can help them? Can I introduce them to somebody that they've got a synergy with that might be able to help them further down the line in the future? So that's just the way I do it. Try it. It feels much better anyway when you're helping other people. It really does. So that's it about opportunities for me. How can you create the opportunities to help other people? And it does mean a lot of people straight away when you've in the follow-up after the event. But what you've got to remember is that within 2 or 3 days of the event, Everybody who's met that person is following up with them. Every single person is in there and trying to follow up and follow up and follow up. Again, at that point, don't be selling. Focus on that relationship. It would be like a breath of fresh air to them. If someone contacts me after an expo and they're asking how they can help me, or just wants to make the connection rather than trying to sell to me straight away, it makes a massive difference to my interpretation of what their end game is. And connect with everyone on social media, follow them on Instagram, connect with them, follow them on Twitter, definitely connect on LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn for me, I know some people view it as a sales platform. For me, it is the biggest online networking platform that you can have. I have got thousands, somewhere between 6,000 and 7,000 contacts on LinkedIn. I'm not in touch with all of them all the time, but even if someone doesn't connect with you straight away and your activity is good on LinkedIn, one of the best tips I can give you is probably, get to understand the algorithms on LinkedIn and how that works, because you make the connection. Yes, they might not become a customer straight away, but if they can see your activity, if you're a service provider, sharing an element of expertise will make a massive difference to them in terms of trust. And trust is a big part of networking and the follow-up. They can see your recommendations on there so that they know that you're trustworthy. Again, even if you're selling a product, you don't have to go straight in there and sell straight away. It's all in the follow-up. It's all in the relationship. It's all in the networking. And whilst you can't see, I know how to move now. So my business for my training company is better. And move this way, better networking. Now, the most important word I'm actually covering up right now is working, because networking only works if you do. You need to work at building relationships. You need to work at building your pipeline. You need to work at building your reputation. You need to work at getting your reviews. You need to work at everything. It might not happen instantly. Like I say, it might take weeks, months or years for you to get the true follow-up, the true and maximize the potential of the contacts that you're meeting today. But it doesn't matter how long the time it takes, just keep working at it, and before you know it, it will come to fruition. When I'm training people in networking and communications, we spend a lot of time focusing on communication styles so that people can understand themselves, understand other people, adapt, so that they've mastered the art of communications. We look at breaking down the target market, because you need to understand your customer. You need to know who your ideal customer is and then how you're going to make those connections. And that's another thing that we focus on, is actually, who do I know that can introduce me to these people? This here, you can see my hand, it's a bit funny, doesn't it, because of the background. But if you've got your ideal customer here on one side, that's my little hand there, and this is you see that? Yeah. Then what you need to do is bridge the gap between the two, and who can introduce you to them. And somebody you've met today at this expo might be that person. So I spend a lot of time working with businesses to do that as well, and breaking it down. But ultimately, all that is nothing if you don't keep working at it and keep doing the follow-up. And I'm sure Andrew Charlton from #events will agree with me. The fruit is definitely in the follow-up, and that's what you need to do. So CRM, social media, by all means give somebody a call. I'm not suggesting that you don't call them and follow up, or email them and follow up. Be mindful if you're emailing them that they're going to get bombarded with loads of emails. Maybe do something a bit different. Approach them in a way that other people don't. Maybe connect with them on LinkedIn and then agree a time with them for you to follow up. Getting permission to follow up will be worth so much more, and that way when you do actually contact them, the follow-up, they're expecting your call. It's a convenient time for you to ring. So just build that bridge, build that relationship, and by all means ring them. But if you can get permission to ring them first, it will carry so much more weight, and they will appreciate you taking the time to find out when is the most convenient time for them. But don't give up with that follow-up. No doesn't necessarily mean no completely. It just means no, not right now. And actually, in light of the recent pandemic, there might be people saying, no, not right now. But if you can find out when is a good time to contact them, that'll work so much better for you. And you're more likely to get referrals from that person. And that's the other thing as well. When you're following up, if they're not a potential customer, or they are and they're just not interested right now, then they may be up for connecting with you in the future, most definitely. And connecting on social media will be the next step for that. You can build a relationship online, most certainly can. And if there's one thing the pandemic has taught us, is that we can build relationships online. So if they're not ready to become a customer right now, then so be it. You can build relationships on social media, particularly on LinkedIn. I'm not suggesting that you stalk somebody, but if you understand about the algorithms on LinkedIn, then you will know that the more people like and comment posts, the more exposure they get to our second and third degree contacts. And I'm sure that your potential customers will appreciate you helping them in that way. So if it is relevant, and as and when you can, do like and comment on social media and start to build a relationship that way. Whilst it's not direct contact necessarily, it will get noticed that you are liking and sharing. Now, there is a limit to it. I'm not suggesting you do it on every single post, because that might seem a bit much, but it is a really good start if it is a no right now. But like with everything I said today, the results come from the relationship, the fruit comes from the follow-up, and just doing both of that, build the relationships and follow up. That's the message for today. I hope you found the tips that I've given you useful in the short time that we've had together. Please do connect with me on social media, particularly on LinkedIn. Just send me a connection request and put a little message on to say that you've listened to me today at the hashtag events virtual expo, and I'll be happy to connect with you. So my name is Tracy Heatley, and it's Tracyheatley. By all means, go and have a little look at my website at better-networking.co.uk. I'm also a radio presenter. One of the shows that I present is a business show, and there's some fantastic business interviews on there that you may find useful as well. But yeah, just get in touch with me on social media, and I'll be happy to hear from you. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Have a fantastic day. Thank you very much.